The crowd talked about the verdict being the start of change.
Daunte Wright's family thanked the crowd for their support. Their son was 20 years old when he was shot during the traffic stop in April.
Today we have gotten accountability, yes. And that's what we've been asking for from the beginning all the way up until today.
In Brooklyn Center today, a lot of talk about change and moving forward and the best way to do so. Adam Duxter talked with people who live there and heard from city officials earlier this evening, and he joins us now. Hi there, Adam.
Yeah, even prior to today's verdict, the people living here in Brooklyn Center said they were hopeful no matter what the outcome was going to be, they hope the city could begin to take the first steps in the healing process and renewing itself. And earlier today, Mayor Mike Elliott and civil rights leaders from around the Twin Cities addressed the media here at Brooklyn Center City Hall and said in order for that to happen, it takes real policy change to occur first. And Mayor Elliott detailed how the city is going to do that in what they call the Daunte, Wright, and Kobe Heisler resolution. And of course, that's what the Brooklyn Center City Council passed earlier this year. And it involves creating a civilian response team that will respond to non-moving traffic violations and also creates a mental health response team that will respond to 911 calls that are mental health related. And Mayor Elliott said just 22% of their 911 calls in 2019 were actually for a crime. And he says in order for the city to take the first step in reshaping itself, it takes a plan like this. And the residents here say they're hopeful that these changes are for the better.
Fully implementing this transformative resolution will prevent more deaths at the hands of law enforcement and create a community where everyone has the resources and is supported in a way necessary to thrive.
It's been a ride. It's been rough around here, but hopefully it changes for the better.
Mayor Elliott also called on Governor Walz to invest a portion of the state's surplus back into Brooklyn Center. As for hiring for that new team here in Brooklyn Center, he said that will continue into 2022.
All right, Adam, thank you. Stay with WCCO on TV and online as we continue to cover the trial. Kim Potter is scheduled to be sentenced on February 18th.